What's up, everybody? It's your boy Phil Shocker, the 96 Hedgehog here with Week 1 of the WWC Season 7 season. We are here battling my good buddy Jake, aka Lord Ixie, coach of the Philadelphia Phantoms. Jake and I have gone back and forth a couple of times. I think this is going to be the 4th or 5th time? Could be the 3rd time we've ever faced. Because I faced him in WWC Season 3? I'm thinking Season 2 or Season 3, one of the two. Then I faced him in GADL. I think back-to-back first weeks. I think he beat me in one of those. No, I beat him there. Actually, no, I think I've beaten Jake every. Blame my cat, everybody. He's wanting attention right around report. But yeah, I think I've beaten Jake every single time, so I think I'm 3-0 against him. I'm pretty sure. So definitely want to keep that undefeated streak against him. Make sure he can't get his win. But Jake's got a bit of a tough team versus mine. But I think we got the pieces we need to win. So if you guys are excited for this team builder, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Join the Push Rocker crew today because you'll be feeling with the king of the crew. And with that being said, let's break down this team matchup. So looking at Jake's team, he's got Melmetal, which is a classic pick that he always loves to grab. Definitely was eyeing that myself for this draft as well. Clefable, he sniped me of that thing. I wanted Clefable. Really did. And they got Flygon, really good ground type. Underrated as all hell. I think people just do not give Flygon the credit that it deserves. Drapion, another valuable mon I have used in the past. That's a champion right there. Suicune, a mon I've been really wanting to get back to and trying again. For reasons, because it's just good. Terrakion, just a monster that spams buttons against teams where it's Scarf and Bandit. Moltres, underrated fire type. Definitely a beautiful piece. If I could have been uploading my PBA, you guys would have seen me pull off a weakness policy. Chili Moltres sweep, which would have been pretty cool. Girder, actually a pretty decently good low tier fighting type with access to Defog. Raikou, a really good speedy electric type that's really good against them with the good coverage it's got in this generation. And then Rillaboom is a monkey with grassy terrain, pretty much about it, like I said. So looking at his team, some of the biggest weaknesses that Jake has against his team, he loses to Spikes plus Stealth Rocks, in my opinion. Toxic Spikes, I don't think are the biggest concern for his draft, in my opinion, because Rest Sleep Toxic Suicune's always a thing. Clefable with Magic Guard, Melmetal right there, Girder with Guts, Flygon with Levitate, Moltres with Flying, obviously, Grounded Poison, obviously. So I generally feel like looking at his draft, excuse me, Spikes and Stealth Rocks are definitely his big issue, and his hazard removal is extremely low. His only way to hazard removal is Defog on Moltres, which can reliably run it, but there's some times where Moltres can be more offensive. I don't think he wants to run it. Defog on Girder, which I think would be last ditch scenario unless he knows what sets he needs and just wants to be okay running Defog. And then Defog on Flygon, which I think is really crippling Flygon unless you're running like a super fat defensive Flygon set or something. I don't know. But yeah. Overall, looking at his team, I don't think Rillaboom comes. Like I said in my draft analysis, which by the way, in the draft analysis, I actually did not say this, and I'll say this right now. I actually picked up Vigoroth and Glalie in my draft analysis. It's just I actually had 2 leftover points, so I decided to pick up 2 1-pointers. So I do have Glalie and Vigoroth now. Vigoroth just to give me a ghost immunity, and plus it's a decent mon with a base and any speed tier, really fitting well with webs. And I grabbed Glalie strictly for spike stacking and that type of reason. So definitely something they're not there. But anyways, back to this matchup. I don't think he's bringing Rillaboom. Like you look at my draft, Rillaboom gets destroyed. There are certain grasses that I do need to kind of respect to make sure I don't just straight up lose to. Because when you look at my team, like, Rillaboom's coverage is not strong enough against my team. Rillaboom can't do too much against me. Rillaboom's forced to be banded, Rillaboom's forced to run a berry, Rillaboom's forced to run this and that. Like, Rillaboom, I think, is pressured to be in this matchup. And plus, I don't think he really wants my team getting grassy terrain recovery. So, I really don't think he's bringing Rillaboom. And you're going to see, obviously, with my team right now, I have, like, 4 Rillaboom answers, so I really don't think he brings it. Raikou, I don't think really comes at all in this matchup. Raikou doesn't have that strong of a matchup. Like, it's not like it's a terrible matchup, But like the thing with Raikou is this: Raiku's kind of limited to what it can do. It's either gonna be forced into Specs, Scarf, AV, or just because it's gotta run Scald, but I have Seismitoad, which Water Absorb, which basically stops that. It would rather run Extra Sentry as a move to hit under Dragalge, since it can't hit me otherwise. It needs to run Thunderbolt. Excuse me. Thunderbolt because it's really good against my team. And then there's obviously things like coverage with like Shadow Ball and stuff like that, or Spear potentially, but that can do some decent chunk. But then you get the thing about it, it's either Soul Vested, it's either Specs, and it can just easily be rebuilt. So I really don't think it's got the merits to show up for this match. So I don't know. Girder does have a decent chance to potentially come. Girder has some merits, but I don't think it's a strong bring. It's definitely a decent bring because it beats my bottom three, which was Mega T-Tar, Glalie, and Vigoroth. Those three get pretty much checked by that thing, guaranteed every single time. But I do have 2 flying types. I have a poison type. I have a psychic type along my line. I have a good fairy type. So I don't think it's going to come, but it could if you just want to try to take advantage of Guts potentially. But I think it's more likely going to be Iron Fist. Moltres I do think actually has a decent chance to potentially come, but here's the problem with Moltres. If it comes, has to have default, 100%. It's going to be heavy-duty boots with default, and then he has to decide if he wants to be just dual stab, or he wants to be roost. Or dual stab plus Scorching Sand, so that way he can be able to take 1 hit from Zeraora somehow, and then really Scorching Sand to do damage to be super effective wise. But I think Moltres does have a decent chance to come, like Hurricane Span against a couple things of my team is actually really good. And it's also a really good Genesect switch in for his draft as well, and also a decent good chance to ban it Cinderace. But again, I think there's a lot of things on my team that pressure it, so I really don't think it's going to be. So looking at the main 6 I expect him to bring, I think Melmetal definitely comes. Yeah, I've got Cinderace, yeah, I've got Zapdos and all that, but I think I know Jake's set for this week. He's definitely bringing Iron Defense leftovers with Body Press, Double Iron Bash, and Ice Punch. Or even Earthquake. One of the two. The reason why I say Ice Punch is because it's a good way to hit my Zapdos for super effective damage. And Ice Punch is a good neutral hit to hit Seismitoad if he doesn't want to go Earthquake. So the reason why I say that set, Iron Defense plus Body Press checks a couple of things. It checks Seismitoad, it can check Zeraora, it can check Genesect, it can check Cinderace with whatever Double Iron Bash can hit. I think Double Iron Bash is a really good move. Now, he could switch Ice Punch for something like Toxic or Sub potentially, but then he kind of just loses to Special, and he just gets set up easier. So I do think 3 attacks or 2 attacks plus Toxic or Sub is definitely going to be on his Melmetal. Melmetal's a little bit problematic against my team, and stupid things, which work offline. So I do think Melmetal has a good chance to really do some work against my team. But I think I know, since I've been building with Melmetal, I kind of know what Melmetal he wants to bring. Clefable has to be unaware. It has to be unaware Clef. And even though I'm going to be bringing some ons that do kind of have pseudo setup, he has to bring Clef. The reason why he has to bring Clef is a couple of reasons. One, like I said, unaware. It stops Belly Drum Slurp Up. It stops any choice. It stops any build up in bulk ups or anything like that I have on my team, and just shuts those down. If he's Magic Guard, he sets himself up to be fodder, and he just loses. He has to be this. Also, I think he has to be Babiri Berry. The reason why I say he's got to be Babiri Berry is because this way he takes 1 hit from my Genesect, goes for Flamethrower, and kills off my Genesect. Because Genesect's not living any fire type move under the sun, even if it's not stat. Just a good strong fire move from a good special attack stat or a decent special attack stat is all you need. Excuse me. And that is one thing I kind of have with Genesect that I have to kind of understand, that any fire coverage basically can kill me. I mean, I could probably take certain fire moves if I can build correctly for it, but I wouldn't probably be able to take much. So, but definitely Clefable is a big threat. I think I know Jake. I think Wish, Moonblast. Is he gonna be Wish or Softboil? Softboil if he's gonna have his own reliable recovery, and then he's either gonna have Calm Mind or Cosmic Power. And that would suck right there if he's Cosmic Power. Because if he's Cosmic Power, he can actually just beat my team. Which is a little problem. But then again, he doesn't get coverage. He has to be Moonblast to be his best way to hit my Dragalge, which then would be his death. And again, he has to play the mind game. So if he's Wish, then he's kind of helping himself and the team. But if he's Soft Boil, he's a setup for Fable. So definitely going to be on the lookout for there. Flygon. Flygon I definitely think has to be either going to be his defensive mon with Defog in case he needs hazard removal from Stealth Rocks and Spikes, or it's going to be one of his Scarfers slash Band mons that he's going to use, because I think Flygon offensively, Dragon plus Ground really hits my team really hard this week. That's one thing I knew about my draft, was definitely the ground weakness was going to be a bit of a thing. I mean, yeah, I got a resistance, but ground's still a bit of a problem versus my draft. So it's definitely going to be something I have to be looking out for when we get to ground types. But I think Flygon's a really good ground type that can hit my team, on my team. So I definitely think it's going to be one of those Pokemon I have to definitely be careful with. Drapion, I think, comes. I think he might try to potentially Toxic Spikes me. But if anything, Drapion just could be a good Assault Vest mon to be running knockoff, and then like dual stab, probably Earthquake coverage for my draft, and probably Fire Fang, specifically made for Genesect, obviously. I feel like Assault Vest Drapion's the perfect bring against my team, or Shuka Berry variant, whatever he goes with. Suicune, 100% is coming. Suicune is just stupidly defensive. I think he's gonna be Crocoon with Toxic and Scald. I think that's all he really needs. Like, obviously, Seismitoad would shut that down, but Seismitoad still can't do too much anyways, besides getting Toxic, and I have no way to remove my Toxic, so. But, anyways, Suicune, just a really annoying one, and plus I think he really needs to bring it in order to stop Cinderace, because if he does not bring it, Cinderace is going to go ham on his draft, and really just mess everything up. And lastly, I think Terrakion's coming. Terrakion, I think, a very good offensive rock and fighting type Pokemon against my team. I don't really have the best switch-ins to dual stab. My only best switch-in to really Terrakion in terms of fighting is really my Zapdos and my Dragology, which then he can easily counter by going for the Rock-type move, which can either KO or 2-hit KO me, depending on that. I do think he's going to be, either again, the Scarf or the Band. I think Flygon and Terrakion are going to be his two main mons of choice. They're going to run Scarfs and Bands. So if we can figure out exactly who's running the Choice Band, who's running the Scarf, we can actually be able to figure it out. And the reason why I would say Choice Band is because if you really look at Terrakion, right? Terrakion forces some pro. And Terrakion, yeah, can run Scarf. But I think in the long run, Terrakion, if he can force Zapdos out, it can go for a Stone Edge and kill him. So that's going to be something we have to be very careful with. So definitely need to make sure I'm careful with that. If I know Jake, he probably would run Rock Slide as well as Stone Edge. Like Rock Slide, if he knows he can just safely chip me down and go for that. But then Stone Edge, if it's a 1v1 scenario, and he has to go for the kill. I do see him running Earthquake as well that way. Because another thing about this grassy terrain, he's got really solid Earthquake mons. So I think he needs Earthquake spam in this matchup in order to really help against this team. So yeah. Also, hope you guys don't mind making these team builders probably a little longer. I feel like, for this season, I've always been I have a great spot for this league in my heart, because it's one of my favorite leagues to do. Honestly, it's really just a blast to play in every single time I get the chance to. So I want to be a little more in depth with this season. So let's go ahead and break down the team we are bringing for this week in week 1. We're first kicking it off here with Seaweed. I look at Seaweed's matchup. Seaweed just has a phenomenal matchup here. We are running Dual Stab with Focus Blast, obviously, with Focus Blast, Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, and Sludge Wave, max HP, 44 defense, 100 special attack, and 132 speed. We have Modest Nature. Basically, speed lets me outspeed Clefable, so Clefable is 0 speed, like it always should be. I outspeed Clefable and can kill that thing, basically. Focus Blast, obviously there for the Melmetal, guarantees a 2-hit KO, unless he's like a super fat defensive AV set, which then I don't kill. But Focus Blast into a Draco Meteor actually has a possibility to kill as well, which is pretty cool. Which can cover switch-ins on that. Obviously, I do kind of let setup hotter happen once I click Draco Meteor, so that's why I have Dragon Pulse. I don't want to click Draco Meteor unless I need to absolutely click that button. So there's that. But I think Dragology honestly has a really solid matchup here. I think Dragology can actually be a really good breaker. We are running the Shook Up Berry so that way I can take a hit from the Flygon, because I really don't think he's going to go for the Dragon move when I have a Steel type in the back, and because Earthquake is just spam. He could click at he could trick. I cannot talk. He can click the Dragon move in front of me if he wants to. But he probably wants to see if I'll switch into the Genesect and then make the prediction or make the safe play and all that. Because honestly, he doesn't really need to click the Dragon move, because if he clicks the Dragon move, he lets me bring in my Techno Drive and just basically click Ice Beam and kill him. So that's definitely a risk he's got to be very careful and very mindful of. So definitely something to note with that. But I think Dragology, really good breaker this matchup, and I think can actually do a lot for us. And we're in the team. Up next, we're bringing Sugar Berry Avatar this week. My Zero Aura Plasma Fist Play Rough Drain Punch at Bulk. It was originally Close Combat on this set because I think Close Combat was really good to shred through in case he did bring it. I also originally kind of had Blaze Kick on this set just in case if he did bring it, but I think I don't really need it. Bulk Up lets me actually take a hit from Scarf Fly On. I actually do take a Earthquake with +1. Also with Sugar Berry, so if I get a +2 up, even with the Sugar Berry, I'm taking hits, and that's where Drain Punch comes in handy, because then I can start taking hits from his team, and then just start wearing it down. Obviously, Clefable, if I'm adamant, unless he's like max HP, max defense, I actually have a chance to basically 2 KO that thing with a roll. But if he's Cosmic Power, then he can just start soft boiling up. But the one thing I think Jake needs to be careful about, if he's going to try to like set that up, he has to be careful, because there's a good chance that I can freely just go ahead and sack him on, bring in something that can kill it, and just go from there. So I think he's got to be very careful about that in that terms of regards. But honestly, Zero Aura, fantastic on this matchup. I think it really breaks Jake's team. We are obviously faster than his fastest Mon, because I don't need really speed creepy in this matchup. I originally was going to go Choice Banded, but then I kind of thought to myself, if I'm Banded, he's got Scarfers, I don't really want to take the chance, so I think going for the safe Sugar Berry set was definitely going to be the right move right here. Up next, this was something I was definitely thinking of, and I think I'm going to go with it. It's a definitely risky play to make this matchup. Because here's what I'm thinking Jake's going to expect. Jake's going to expect me to be probably Water Absorb Toad, which makes a lot of sense against his team because of stopping Suicune. Obviously, I can make the predictions on toxic plays, bring in something on a toxic, and then just go from there. But the one thing I think, excuse me, I'm also sorry if you keep hearing my cat. She just wants attention. But what I thought was going to be a really cool idea here is that no matter what he's going to bring, I counter it with this Seismitoad. Seismitoad, literally offensively, is going to shred for his team. So I decided to go, you know what? And I was telling you all in the team builder, if I didn't, I'm telling you now, I did plan to bring Rain Dance, Swim, Seismitoad. And I'm bringing it, boy. I am not bringing Damp Rock, obviously, but I'm also bringing Mystic Water, so there is no viable switch in. Clefable, once Rain's up, is going to get 2 KO'd regardless. Metal gets Earthquake into Liquidation, which basically kills it. Flygon, Liquidation kills. Terrakion, Liquidation kills. Moltres, Liquidation kills. I do take the risk of being burned. And I do have Power Up on this set because it checks Suicune. I don't think it's going to guarantee a 2 KO in Suicune unless an Expert Bell or something like that. But chipping down that Suicune is going to be the big point of the team here, which I think is going to be really, really solid for our draft. Earthquake, again, like I said, is also good spam on this matchup against his team as well. Really shuts down a good couple of things. It stops down the Drapion and all that. So I really think Seismitoad offensively is going to really go in. And I think Huff's going to appreciate this set. I think he's going to like it. Because Huff, his baby is Seismitoad. And I'm hoping I do Huff justice. We are in 44 in HP just to give us a little bit of bulk. We do have to run the certain speed creeps, and we do have to outspeed Scarf Terrakion. So about 4 turns, I got to play my turns carefully around that and definitely making sure I can be able to just smack something up for 4 turns. I think I can definitely reliably set Rain up a couple of times if I need to. Yes, it's risky bringing this Mon when he has Rillaboom, which is the ultimate counter to things like Rain and all that. But again, I don't see him bringing Rillaboom. Look at my team. 4 answers to Rillaboom. I really don't think he brings it. I really don't. And plus, I think he doesn't want grassy terrain on my side of the field that can help me versus helping him. So there's that. Outside of Rain, we actually do outspeed a decent chunk of his Mons. I think we definitely outspeed some of his lower speed tiered Mons. Also, some of the Mons he does not even want to outspeed with, we could probably outspeed, which would be good gauging information as well. So Toadette, really looking good this matchup. Up next, we're bringing Dash, and I'm bringing a bit of a unique set this week. It's definitely a bit weird, but hear me out on what I want to do with this. This set outspeeds max speed Raikou. I don't outspeed any Scarfer on his team unless he's a very low tier Scarfer. But yeah, I don't outspeed any Scarfers on his team. I don't outspeed anything. I just outspeed his entire draft. That's all it is. So why would I go with a bit of a risky set like this? I think just pure offensive reasons, I think is the main reason right there. I think just going pure offensive with this thing is just going to be super important for this matchup. We are running Thunderous Kick, Close Combat, U-Turn, and Brave Bird. U-Turn for pivoting, Close Combat plus Thunderous Kick to kind of get some gauging information, going for -1, and then going for the kills. Close combat spam is really good against this team. Besides, obviously, a few things. And then Brave Bird spam is really good against his team. Basically, if I get rid of Melmetal, I can just Spray Bird spam the rest of his team 100% of the time, which is really the main thing. So again, even if I weaken Melmetal down to the point where you can get 2 KO'd by Brave Bird, that is going to be where it's also really good as well. And I think that's going to be the one thing that I think a lot of teams are going to be very careful with that. And plus, with having Defiant, it's really good in this matchup too. Because if he tries to bring hazard removal, I mean, obviously I don't make him click it. But if he clicks attacks that might give me drops, and I get my Defiant off with having the Scarf, it's going to be really good. Yeah, Unaware Clefable shuts that down. But Clefable, I don't think... I've made the set so Clefable can't kill me in one hit. And if I can 2 KO with Brave Bird, I go for my kill. I 100% will go for my kill. But Thunderous Kick is literally there just to play mind games with Jake, to just kind of give him defense drops, and then make him either force to switch out, or anything like that. So I think that's going to be the main important thing there with having Thunderous Kick this week. I don't really run Thunderous Kick a lot, but I think this was the matchup for Thunderous Kick to really kind of help you. And like I said, Determined is just really, really good there for pivot. So we are running 116 HP max attack, Adamant 56 defense, 60 split up, and then 24 speed. Like I said, speed outspeeds Raikou, which makes me faster and everything on his team. And then the Bolt just lets me take a little bit more better at the hits in that regard. It lets actually stay in against Terrakion. If Terrakion's going to try to think he can kill me at full, but I can outspeed hit, kill it, and go from there. Up next, we're running Techno Drive, and I'm actually thinking about that Ice Beam tech. I'm not going to lie to you, actually. We are running Techno Drive here, our Genesect here, with enough speed to outspeed. What does this speed? Outspeed. Oh, that's outspeeds Moltres. We're running enough speed to outspeed Moltres, which if it could come, we have speed creep for that. With Flash Cannon, Thunderbolt, Techno Blast, and again, I think I'm going to put Ice Beam on this set now, just because of the fact that Flygon, I can take a hit from Flygon. It's going to go for the Fire Punch hit, obviously. And I can just Revenge and kill it. Get rid of that thing on the screen and everything like that. But Genesect, I think, is a really good mon this matchup. I think Bub Steel is really strong against Jake Strap, and then the coverage really just needing to be fire and maybe electric and ice potentially. So I'm actually going with the Burn Drive. Now, I think Burn Drive's a bit of a risk, but what Burn Drive offers me is a move to hit grass, hit anything that's weak to fire, which I think is the main thing I wanted from Genesect for this matchup. Bird Drive is it gives me a strong move to hit Melmetal, because Melmetal is probably one of the best answers to Genesect coverage-based moves attacks. So I definitely think that was the reason. Thunderbolt's a really good move because it checks Moltres on a switch and it can potentially 2-KO that thing, which is really cool. The original idea with having Substitute on this set was to sub up, let something come in, and then chip it down with Flash Cannon, Thunderbolt, or Techno Blast. Go from there. But I think having the Ice Beam coverage actually I think is going to be more important. So I think I am going to go with Ice Beam. I don't think I'm going to regret that all that much, but I think it's going to be a good play here. Because if he reads in Moltres and clicks Thunderbolt, knowing that doesn't, well, he might not even know how to outspeed him, but if he does know it, especially if I got download and I switch and he knows he needs to save this Moltres as an answer to some things on my team, he's got to switch it out. He brings in, obviously, let's say, I don't know, the Flygon. I Ice Beam that thing if he cares. Because I would imagine Jake's draft, and I imagine Jake to be smart, definitely bring a couple of Mon with fire coverage. I don't think he's going to bring every single Mon on his team to bring fire coverage, which I think it would be definitely unnecessary on his end. I think also like a Dragon Dance Flygon set is just perfect against my team, because Dual Stab plus Fire Punch then is good. So I really don't expect Jake to have a ton of fire coverage with his team. I mean, I think that plus Clefable I think is going to be his only Mon with fire coverage, maybe Drapion. But that's where Genesect's going to come in, hopefully playing with some KOs or so, and hopefully just do some work. And last but not least, we are going to be running Sonic My Cinderace with the trusty old Choice Band set, standard set, basically designed to outspeed the Terrakion, rest in HP for just bulk. We are running Gungshot, High Jump Kick, Powerball, and U-Turn. This is definitely going to be one of my main pivoters for this matchup. This is going to probably be most likely my lead, depending on what he has. Now, obviously, he brings Suicune. Suicune's going to be his hard switch into this thing. I do expect probably a Rocky Helmet set from Suicune. Suicune definitely having Rocky Helmet is definitely going to be very annoying with having Rest Sleep Talk as well. The reason why I think having the Rocky Helmet's a good match, like, look at Cinderace. Cinderace is just a really good Pokemon. So I had to basically get to the point where Suicune's weakened down to the point where Powerball can 2-KO, and I won't get affected by Rocky Helmet. Otherwise, I have to rely on a chance to kill with High Jump Kick, or I have to rely on that. He stays unless he stays asleep, obviously. So, and another thing about Jake's draft, he does not have a ghost type on his team. So definitely bringing fighting coverage against him is a no-brainer idea. So definitely something to note there. Obviously, Moltres is another good switch into Cinderace as well, but Moltres doesn't really want to be chipped down by Pyro Ball, by High Jump Kick, or even take a gun shot. So there is that. But that's going to be it for the team, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Join the First Soccer Crew today because you'll be friendly with the king of the crew. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time and for week 1 of WWC. I can't wait to have this league started, guys. Thank you all so much for watching.